you know what's happened? The video's playing again for me. It's honestly, my computer just broke. Right now, I don't even know what is going on. There we go. I'm back. The intro just played like 3 times to me on the bounce. It just went. My computer just had an absolute fit. I hope it's okay. But welcome back to Straight Facts, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're good. I hope you're enjoying the World Cup. The first morning off in what feels like an eternity. I'm joined as ever by Lee Gunner. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've been chilling. I've literally watched about 4 90-minute games. That's it. I'm not really interested in it, if I'm honest.
You're not?
Not really. I've seen all the goals. I've seen all the highlights and stuff, but I haven't been sat watching all these games all day. I've got other things to be doing than sitting there watching all day football. So,
you know, it's just mad. I've watched every single game from start to finish up until yesterday. And I had to do some stuff with my daughter and like take her to school and then some stuff at home. I went gym. And then I wanted to pick my daughter up. So I'd missed yesterday's first 2 games, and they're the best 2 games of the goddamn World Cup. I'm like, I've done all of that, and I've ended up missing the best 2 matches. But but the good thing is that we got to see. I did get to sit down and watch another Bruno masterclass at this World Cup. Another brace from him, 2 goals, 2 assists, and. But he's one of his busy mates. Ronaldo's trying to steal the goal from him.
That guy's got no shame, mate. I'm telling you, the way he celebrated that, Terry, it was just ridiculous. Yeah, but it was funny because the guy on the tannoy put it over the tannoy system that it was Bruno's goal. Like, how is he even trying to claim that? This is your GOAT, by the way. Yeah, your GOAT is now trying to do Harry Kane, like trying to. Oh, I swear on my daughter's life, it hit me. Like one of them ones. Come on, man. That guy's got no shame whatsoever.
Do you know what's interesting? I did read today, and again, it was just on a tweet of somebody, so I don't know how accurate it is. But I read that there's some technology in the ball, and they know categorically that there was no touch because the technology picks up these touches. I only read it on a tweet. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you've only got to put something in there. There's sensors and whatever else. But and maybe that's why the stadium announcer knew, because maybe like goal line technology, the referees armband rings. Maybe there's something similar that enables the sort of officials at the game to know who scored. But yeah, I mean, it was good to see my Bruno do it. And yeah, Ronaldo was claiming that goal. The celebration as well. He celebrated so hard as well. Like he styled that good, bro. He styled that really good.
Mate, well, let's be honest. He's got a career in acting when he finishes football, isn't he? That's for sure. Do you know what's crazy about it though? Yeah, is the boat. I don't think that was a penalty either. By the way, and I don't think either of the penalties Portugal have had have been penalties. Yeah, I don't think the one that Ronaldo had in the last game. I don't think that was a penalty, and I don't think this one was a penalty. And it's like they've been kind of lucky, Portugal, from what I've seen. Yeah, like I said, I haven't watched the 90 minutes of both of the games, but from what I've seen from the highlights and stuff like that, like Uruguay, the hipster's choice, by the way, there was enough hipsters out there saying, "Oh, Uruguay are dark horses." Really, my dark horses are doing all right. Spain. I said Spain, man. I said they're that bad. They might actually surprise people, and they have. But yeah, Uruguay offer nothing. Right? Let's be honest. They're not very good, other than Suarez and Cavani. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 others. That team's not good. So I expected Portugal to beat them, but to still have it at 1-0 going into stoppage time. This is why I don't rate Portugal, man. Look at all the talent Portugal got in that team, Terry. And I know they got the job done and they've qualified and all of that, but if they come up against somebody half sensible, they're going to get battered. Yeah, because they're not that good. They remind me of Belgium, like over the last 10 years. They got all the star players, they got all the names and all of that, but they just never do it in the tournament, never gel. And I think Portugal are going to be the same. I think as soon as they get somebody half decent, they're going to go out.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they've been okay. I think they've controlled games fairly well. There's just that lack of penetration from them, if that makes sense. But yeah, you're right on the penalties. They were a little bit soft. And I actually thought yesterday's was when I first saw it, and then I've read the rules, and I'm like, and then listened to people, and this is again, education's important. Kind of like, no, I actually get what you mean now. He's just falling to the ground. What's he meant to do? Not use his arms to break his fall. It was just an accident in that regard. But Portugal are an interesting one. They are an interesting one to watch. But yeah, Uruguay have been awful. Glad they're going out. I didn't write Spain off. I do feel like when you look at Spain, you look at some of their areas and you look at their three attackers, and you're like, wow, what a fall off from the level of player they had. But they are still good players, and maybe something I've learned over this World Cup, and it's a flaw in my thought process, is just because there's a drop off from what you had to what you've got now doesn't make it bad. You know, it's like if you go from a you're driving a G wagon to driving a BMW X5. The X5 is not a bad car. It's not as good as a G wagon, but it's still a very good car. Do you get where I'm coming from? And I sort of feel a bit like that's what they've got with Spain. There's some players that are not as good as the superstars they had before, but they're still very good. And I think it makes people underrate them. I think it makes their opponents underrate them. And they've done very, very well indeed. There's no doubt. But back to Ronaldo, I wanted to put this out today. So Fabrizio Romano has tweeted this out, and it is from directly from Oliver Kahn, who has said, I can rule out a move for Cristiano Ronaldo. We all love Ronaldo, but the strategy is different. So a very polite way of saying we're rejecting Cristiano Ronaldo. So Ronaldo will not become a Bayern Munich player. He's been rejected by them publicly as well. They've come out and actually like shut that down completely. What's your thoughts on them saying that? Do you think it's a good move from Bayern Munich?
Yeah, they're serial title winners, Terry. Why would they want him up front? Like, why? It makes no sense to sign him. Yeah, they don't need the exposure. They're one of the biggest clubs on the planet. They don't need a little crybaby that's not going to do anything in their team up front. That's just going to try and goal hang. He's not going to run. He's not going to press. He's not going to work. He's going to throw his hands up in the air if you don't pass to him. What's the point? There's not many teams on the planet that will want Ronaldo. This ain't Ronaldo of 5 years ago, 6 years ago. This is Ronaldo now. Yeah, and I think going back to that Piers Morgan interview, he's done himself more harm than good in that interview, in my opinion. Yeah, because take out the stuff with his kids, yeah, which is like you don't wish that on anyone. Take all that out. It was just basically, oh, I didn't get my own way. Yeah, look at me. Oh, I'm spitting my dummy out. Blah blah blah. So clubs really of an elite level that are going to want him. Yeah, why would you? Why would Bayern Munich, out of all the teams, why would Bayern Munich win the league every year, compete in the Champions League every year? Why would they want him in the dressing room? Makes no sense. It's not Lewandowski. At least Lewandowski can move. Like, do you know what I mean? It makes no sense. If I was them and they're looking for a striker, just go and get Harry Kane. Yeah, he's younger. He's 10 years younger than Ronaldo. Yeah, if they got him for 5 years, they might kick on and win the Champions League in the next couple of years. You know they're going to win the league because that league's dead. Nobody else is going to win it. So why would they want him? Like most of them Bayern players have been there for years and years and years as well. So, you know, it had upset a lot of them players with him coming in as the main guy. Oh, look at me, I'm Ronaldo. Like, no. Bayern Munich ain't dumb, mate. They're not dumb. They're one of the biggest clubs on the planet, and they've got an elite mindset in terms of winning. Yeah, I know it's only the German league and all that. You still got to win it. Yeah, and they want to compete for the Champions League every year. He ain't going to make you compete for the Champions League. Kane will.
Yeah, listen, I think Harry Kane's a much better option for them. And I think, as Oliver Kahn alludes to, the strategy is different. And it's Ronaldo's too old now. And I know his fanboys don't want to hear this, but you're going to see a lot of the major clubs reject him. You may get some that think, do you know what? We're in the Champions League. We could do with a bit of a payday. We could do with, reaching out to our sponsors and saying Ronaldo's coming in. We want more money. Shirt sales, etc. So there might be some that do it for that reason. I also think what Messi does is going to dictate what Ronaldo does. So if Messi does sign and announce this deal to go and play for whatever they're called, Beckham's team. If he goes and does that, legitimately, I think Ronaldo leaves the champion. He doesn't need to play in the Champions League anymore. The reason that he wants to be in the Champions League is because Messi scoring goals in it, and he doesn't want his tally to be overtaken. That's all it really comes down to, in my opinion. And Ronaldo is very aware of that. And if he signs that deal, I think Ronaldo will say, right, I'll go Saudi for because there's talks of a Saudi club offering him £200 million to go and play for them. Like, Ronaldo's already very rich. And I think he alluded to the fact on the Piers Morgan interview, he's got maybe £400 to £500 million. Like, imagine another 200 million tax-free hitting your bank accounts. And it'll always be tax-free because he'll keep it in an offshore bank account that he'll be able to spend from wherever he is in the world. Like, why would you not do it? Like, why would he not do it? And I almost kind of want both of them to leave the Champions League sphere and just go off and play football elsewhere, so we can move on to maybe debating other players. Like, while they're still around, they still kind of dominate the conversation. And I love them both very much as footballers. They've been brilliant. They've entertained us. They've given us great moments, the rivalry, the El Clasicos, the Champions League runs. But I'm kind of ready now to move on to someone else. I feel like I want to see him go out to pasture. Go and do so, go and break some records in some other countries. Because again, if Ronaldo goes and plays in Saudi Arabia, I don't know how good the league is out there, but he'll kill it. He'll probably play 50 games and score 80 goals, and that'll be a great little achievement for him, and Messi right now will go to the MLS and will absolutely tear it up. He will. But yeah, I'm not surprised to see Bayern Munich reject him. Why would they not? Why would they not reject him now? They need younger, fitter, stronger, and a little bit more longevity. Like Ronaldo in the next who knows what the decline on his body is going to look like in the next 18 months. Imagine you give him a 3-year deal at 500 grand a week, and then in a year he can't run. Like
he can't run now.
True.
He can't run now, Terry. Like, well, what is the advantage to signing him? Like shirt sales, whoopee. Like that's it. Yeah, but you're going to pay him $500,000 a week. Like, really? Or just so you can get a load of shirt sales in and get a spotlight on your club and maybe a new deal. Like, is it really worth it? Probably not. Like, he's 40 in less than 2 years, isn't he? Something like that. About 2 years from now, he's going to be 40. It's not like he's Ibrahimovic and into his 40s, but never relied on pace and like, no. Honestly, mate, Ronaldo. You're right what you said. Ronaldo's desperate to see what Messi does because Messi lives rent-free in his head. Yeah, and it's always him chasing Messi. Yeah, he has to, let me see what Messi's doing and then I'll decide. It's always that Messi couldn't care less about Ronaldo. Yeah, Messi just plays football. And I think Messi's going to stay at PSG. I think he might stay because I think that he's 2 years younger, 2.5 years younger than Ronaldo. I still think he's got another year or so at the top level. And then I think he'll go to America. And then I think, Ronaldo, I'd be sitting at home crying because Messi's broken all the records because he's not far behind him.
He isn't, and that's it. I think if he stays, then Ronaldo, that's what Ronaldo will look to do. I think you might see Ronaldo do a short-term deal at a Champions League club. I don't know who, but maybe at a Champions League club if he can find one. And then maybe in the summer, like weigh up his options when he knows what Messi's doing. But we'll see. Speaking of transfer options, though, moving this on the viewers, make sure you're smashing like buttons. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. There was a question that came in I wanted to answer, actually. Where's it gone? It said, Terry, thoughts on Kudus from Ghana. I think he's been great. I think he's been one of the players of the tournament. I've been very impressed with him so far this season. Electric pace, good touch, can go both ways, can score. Very, very impressed with him indeed. And I've been waiting for, like, from an attacking point of view, like he's a new shining light for the country and for the continent. So yeah, really, really impressed with him. He's been very, very good indeed. As I say, viewers, make sure like buttons are being smashed to make sure you're subscribing. But Chelsea linked with, and not just linked with, but essentially they've signed Christopher Nkunku now. That's pretty much done, dusted, over the line. They're just waiting for the paperwork to be signed right now. Considering Chelsea's situation, a lot of people saying, they're going to fall away. They should be written off. They're rubbish now, etc. How good a signing do you see this as being for them, and what kind of statement is it?
Massive. That's a massive signing. He's been one of the best players in Europe for a while, Terry, and not just in domestic football, but in Champions League domestic football, if that makes sense, in European competition, not just in his own league that he's scoring and playing to a high level, but he's doing it in Champions Leagues as well. Yeah. Like, bro, that guy is really talented, and I'm shocked he's going to Chelsea. I can't lie. Yeah, I thought it maybe warrant a bigger club than that. No disrespect to Chelsea fans in the chat because they're massive, but I thought maybe Madrid, Barcelona, somebody like that. I didn't expect to see him rocking up at Chelsea, but for Chelsea, their fans must be buzzing. And these levels clear of anything they've got on that left side or right side in that team because he can play both sides. So his levels clear. Right? Who have they got? They've got Pulisic. Well, he's useless. Yeah, Sterling never really fancied him. Like like hit and miss. Yeah, he'll score your goal, but he don't do much else other than that. And Hudson-Odoi, well, they're kicking themselves. They should have got the 50 mil when they could have. Like, other than that, who have they got? Ziyech. Well, yes, he's having a good tournament, but he's chalk and cheese, isn't he? Like, for Morocco, he's brilliant. For Chelsea, he's crap. So, yeah, man. And he's a very, very good player. And not only does he score, he creates. He's pretty quick. His work rate's there defensively, like off the ball and stuff. He's a top player, man. And they've got themselves a good player there. What's the fee on that? How much is the fee?
The fee that let me go and check what I read. I've read a number of fees. I don't know if one's been fully disclosed as of now, but I read somewhere like 60 million euros.
Wow, that's cheap. That's what, 50 million
quid. Good.
50 mil.
Pretty good.
Mate, that's mad. When you look at some of the players in the Premier League that have gone for more than 50 million or around 50 million, that's a bargain. That's actually a bargain. If he comes in and keeps up the form or kicks on to another level, mate, that's going to look like a bargain in the next 18 months if he does that. Because there's not many players like him in the Premier League.
Yeah, a few people are saying 67 to 70 million is what Ben Jacobs has said. Yeah, I mean,
or is that just...
Yeah, because Fabrizio said 60 million clause, easier payment terms. So for more than, he said agreement for more than 60 million euros. Some are saying nearly this, even 70 million euros for what he's produced, what he's delivered. You know, I suppose the only slight concern, he's just had this knee injury, but it doesn't seem like it's a major one. The doctors now, the surgeries now are so much better than they used to be. But I think it shows people that Chelsea, although Chelsea are starting slowly under this Bowley regime, I think people would be mad to like just write Chelsea off with the amount of money they're spending. They bought a lot of good, talented young players. They're going to build a squad, and look, whether Graham Potter's the right guy or not, I just think that Chelsea are just going to fade off quietly into the night, I think is a bloody stretch. I think it's a real big stretch.
Yeah, mate, I agree. They've got too much money, and they're Chelsea Football Club, so like anyone's going to want to go there. Like, you know, you're probably going to get sacked at some point, even if you win something, but you're still going to go there and have loads of money to spend. You're going to have a good squad of players. And when you're buying a player that, like him, that can play up front, he can play anywhere in that front line, can't he? And if you look at the players they've got, Aubameyang, although I don't dislike Aubameyang, he's not the answer to Chelsea Football Club to elevate him to a title. Like, he's a good player in terms of goal scoring. He's not a good player without scoring any goals. He don't offer nothing. Penalty box, that's it. Yeah, but they've got Havertz. He's not done it. And nobody talks about Havertz as well, Terry. Yeah, like the amount of money they spent on Havertz. And why is nobody mentioning how much of a flop he is? It was all like, oh, Pepe's a flop. Pepe's a flop. Well, they cost the same money, you know. Like, all because he scored one goal in the Champions League final gives him a pass. Yeah, and if you look at all of their attacking players at Chelsea, none of them are really any good, are they? Let's be honest. Yeah, and that's why they struggle. They've got very good defenders. They've got some very good midfielders, but their attacking positions, that's where Chelsea fall down. And that's why they're struggling this season. They don't score enough goals. They don't have enough creative wingers. They don't have enough creative midfielders. You know, and then when they do get the ball in the box, it's going into Kai Havertz or Aubameyang.
There's a super chat here from Adrian, who's a Chelsea fan, that says, not excited about any attackers until the midfield is addressed. That is the biggest issue of the team. Please talk about this. DM
I disagree with that. I think they've got some very good midfielders. Kovacic is decent. Yeah, I think he's a good player. Mason Mount, people are going to laugh because he's having a shitter in the World Cup. But Mason Mount is actually not a bad footballer. Yeah, but Chelsea need to pin him down to a position because he plays left, he plays right, he plays centre, he plays number 10, he plays number 8. Just find him a position. Yeah, or is he that bad that you can't? I don't know. Or is he that good that he can cover all? I don't know. It can work both ways, can't it? But I think Mason Mount's not a bad player. Yeah, I don't think he has players around him, behind him, even like in terms of DM. Like Kovacic, if Kovacic is out injured, Chelsea looks so much weaker with or without Mason Mount in the team. When Kovacic and Mount are playing together, yeah, I think Mount plays better. Yeah, because he's then got a better midfielder around him. Yeah, but if you actually, he's right. They do need midfielders. Well, I don't think they need many. Like, go and sign Declan Rice, go and sign one other, and I think they're sweet. Like, they could go and get Rice in there for what, 80 mil, 90 mil, whatever it may cost. Yeah, and then you've got Mount, Kovacic, and Rice. Yeah, that's decent.
You certainly need like a DM in there as well. I do get Adrian's point. He doesn't want to get overly excited in case they don't address that area, but I can't imagine Chelsea not addressing it. And there's now talk from Matt Law that Declan Rice is going to be available for about 70 million. You know, this whole 100+ million, like suddenly some people will still say that's overpriced, but he's Prem proven, England regular, young still. You're spending 70 million on him. He's popular, big on social media. Like, and when he goes to a giant club, he's going to elevate and grow. It's a lot. 70 million is a lot better than the 120 million they were quoting last summer. Like, that was when you were talking about, come on, he is not going to move the needle. Was, you know, he's not a goal scorer. Goal scorers dictate that much money. You know, you add an Nkunku in there for 60 odd million pounds. You throw a Declan Rice into that team. You know, maybe a bit of extra cover at fullback. You suddenly kind of look at that and you're like, the rest of the players around them all start looking better as well. It's almost, they're missing a bit of a spine, a complete spine in their team. They buy the spine. I think they'll be happy with a lot of the additional players in and around that team. It's the like, that's why Chelsea was so successful for so long in the beginning is they had Cech, Terry, Carvalho. You know, they had obviously Lampard in the middle. They had mykhaylo for a while. They had Essien. They had Ballack. They had Didier Drogba. That core was pretty universal. Like, there's slight variations to it, but that core was there for a long time, and everything else that came in and came out fit around it. And I just think they're missing that at Chelsea. I think they're missing that.
Can I just highlight a comment real quick? There's a guy in the chat. He's been running his gums all the way through this, but thanks for watching, buddy. He's a Chelsea fan. He can't even spell Kovacic's name. Chelsea all the way. Man said Mount Kovacic and Rice. Lee Gunner, you're a fraud, mate. You can't even spell one of your players' names. You claim you're a Chelsea fan. Where do we find these people, Terry? Where do they appear from? Imagine having the audacity to write that when you can't even spell your player's name. Mad. Actually mad.
This comment here says, I remember this one for me. It says, I remember when Terry said Mount was slightly better than Darren Gibson and went to get GA in all stages of the Champions League. Don't make the same mistake. Yeah, look, I addressed that and said Mount did a lot better. The thing is, I said Mount did a lot better. After his first season, I said he did a lot better than I thought he would. He then went on to help his team win a Champions League. What I'm finding interesting is that Chelsea fans are a lot, not all, I will claim not all, but a lot of Chelsea fans are now doing a U-turn on Mason Mount. A lot of Chelsea fans are now, oh, actually, maybe he isn't as good as we thought. You know, there are some that are diehard. There are some that are proper Chelsea. He's from the academy. We've got to back him. He's the guy. But there are a few that you come across now that are just like, you know, was it a good little run? You know, was the GA masking things? Can he get back to impacting games the way he was? I think there's a talent in Mason Mount. There's no shadow of a doubt. I mean, I wanted him, but I thought he was very good against Iran. I thought he was really poor against America. Like, if I look at it from an England performance point of view,
yeah, everyone was poor against America apart from Harry Maguire. Yeah. Like, let's be honest, he was our best player. But Terry, this is the thing, right? Soon people are so reactionary. As soon as they have one bad game, oh, get him out, get him out, get him out. Yeah, as soon as they go on a run and start scoring goals, yeah, it's oh, what a player! Oh, he's the best English player. And like, at the end of the day, Mason Mount's a good player, a very good player. Then I know a lot of Chelsea fans don't like him. Yeah, well, that's all you've got at the minute, mate. So you've got to deal with it. It's simple as that, isn't it? Like, you got to deal with it. The same as I have to deal with Odegaard. I don't rate Odegaard. I have to deal with it because we ain't got nothing else. Yeah, and until we don't do that, then he's going to be there, isn't he? Yeah, who are they going to seriously go and get to replace Mason Mount right now? And they'll start throwing out names like, oh, let's go and get Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham ain't going to Chelsea. Get in the bin. He ain't going to Chelsea. Why would he go to Chelsea? He can pick any club on the planet. He ain't picking Chelsea. Yeah, and this is where Chelsea are at the moment. They've got a lot of players there that have been decent, but have fallen away this season. And they're on big money, some of them players. Yeah, then you add in the fact that they've got a lot of injured players. Kante, Reece James, Kovacic is in and out the team. Other players have been injured across the season as well, Chilwell, etc., etc. When you add all of that in, that's why they've gone from up here to down here real quick this season. Yeah, but now to go out and do anything in January, yes, they're going to sign Nkunku, but he ain't coming till the summer, is he? Or is that a January signing?
I I think it's the summer. I think it's the summer that he's coming. Unless I've misread. Let me read what
Yeah, I
Fabrice
think
says.
it is a summer. So now to go out and fix something now in January, who's coming in over Mount? Yeah, they've got what's his name, Loftus Cheeks there. Like, well, why? Why is that guy still at the football club? They should have binned him years ago.
Well, this is the thing. There's someone in the comments that said Terry got bamboozled by stats again. I didn't get bamboozled by stats because, again, people always they boil it down to that, and it's far too simplistic. It's, Mason Mount in that first season, in that run in the Champions League he had the following year, he didn't just play a pass that created a goal and that was it in the games. He was being influential. He was playing well. Like, that's gone off the boil recently, but then a lot of Chelsea players have gone off the boil. But this is where fans have sometimes got to think outside the box slightly and be a little bit more open-minded. Mason Mount's gone from Lampard to Tuchel to Graham Potter. They're all trying to do things differently, different management styles, different personalities, and everything along those lines. Now, all three have seemingly liked him and played him, same as Gareth Southgate. But that's so much transition for a young player to go through. He needs continuity in what he's being told to do, because the thing with young players is they're developing at the same time as trying to perform for you. They're trying to, normally players are fully developed by their mid-20s. In those formative years before that, you need continuity. One of the biggest reasons that a lot of United youngsters in the last 10 years have really struggled is the fact that we've gone through 4 or 5 different managers, some of them that were in and around the first team at the end of Fergie's era. 4 or 5 managers with 4 or 5 different styles, training methods, what they want the diets to be done, disciplinary standards. How do you create continuity at a club where every 18 months there's a whole new world? Like, you need that continuity at club level. So I'll give a bit of a thing to Mason Mount there, but Chelsea certainly need Nkunku. They certainly need another midfielder. There's no doubt that both those areas 110% are needed by them. There's no doubt. And as you say, the takeover has been a little bit of an interesting one so far. Super chat here I wanted to go to says, what do you guys think about Canelo Alvarez and Lionel Messi's beef? As Canelo was fuming with how Messi used the Mexico shirt to sweep across the floor.
I see that. Yeah, Canelo just needs to focus on winning his next fight, mate. Just leave the GOAT alone. All right, just leave him alone. He's not Mexican. If he wants to wipe the floor of a Mexico shirt, who cares? Yeah, like, real talk. Yeah, I'd be more pissed at the guy that fucking shared it. Yeah, because it was one of Messi's teammates. Yeah, I'd be more pissed.
I don't think they shared it to like catch that. They shared the video and then someone kind of noticed it. Does that make sense? I don't think anybody was.
The thing is, the way they made it sound, it was like he was literally on his hands and knees mopping the floor with, like, come on, the way it's all been blown out of proportion. Yeah, mate. If Canelo sees Messi, he'll be like this. He'll be like this because he knows he's the GOAT. Yeah, it's all lip service. Yeah, to elevate his status a little bit more. Yeah, because that's what these people do, isn't it? He's a boxer. Like, he's used to smack talking and shit. So that's what he's doing. Leave the GOAT alone, man. Yeah,
if he doesn't leave the GOAT alone, your GOAT is going to be very scared. It's going to be curry GOAT, brother. Man is going to get chopped up.
You mean like Ronaldo? Curried.
Yeah, but we're not talking about don't deflect on that, Mr.
No, Terry, you're saying, listen, do you seriously think that he's going to rock up to training and start opening up a load of shots on Messi? Of course he ain't. Yeah, it's no,
I mean,
if he sees him, if Messi goes to his next fight, he ain't going to do nothing to him.
Yeah, of course he's not. No, he isn't. Exactly. But unless Messi mouths off back at him, which Messi won't either. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what would be funny? In Argentina's next game, if Messi scores, just pull up the T-shirt. Yeah, with Canelo's face on it. And just knee slide on the floor, giving it, yeah, come on, vamos.
Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be funny. Thoughts on France 2010 was toxic, but World Cup, Belgium, top it. Yeah, I mean, Belgium have been so I love seeing KDB this bad because it's just great to see. I love seeing how bad he's been. And then, it's nice. It's nice seeing how bad he's been, but then equally how good Bruno Fernandes has been. I like seeing that. That makes me feel good. Do you know what I'm saying? Because Bruno's my guy. But
why,
yeah, Belgium.
Again, you're subconsciously trying to draw me out with these little Bruno and KDB. Listen, mate, KDB, is a better footballer than Bruno. Yeah, Bruno's having a better couple of games. That's it. Yeah, KDB's been crap. I can't lie. From what I've seen, he's been shocking, Terry. like real shocking. How he got man of the match in the first game is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, what did he do? You know, from the highlight reels that I see, like every time they had a break, he gave the ball away, and then he ends up getting man of the match. But you know what? One thing I will say about him, yeah, is they asked him if Belgium, if it could be their year, and he said we're too old. Right? Now, in a way, that's kind of being honest because they are too old to win it. But at the same time, that's quite defeatist. That's quite like, well, we're only here for the holiday and the jolly up. Like that's almost a case of, well, we've got no chance, but we'll go anyway. Like, well, why? And listen, I like KDB. I think he's been brilliant for Man City. Yeah, but for Belgium, he never really steps up to that level. Yeah, maybe that's because half the team are overrated for Belgium, and they're not that great. But I don't know. If I was a Belgian national, I'd be fuming with KDB saying what he said, because that's almost a case of, well, we ain't going to win it. We'll turn up, but we don't expect to do anything. That's kind of loser mentality right there from somebody that's not got loser mentality. I don't understand why he said it.
I think there's friction in the dressing room. I think I'm getting the feeling through things I've read that he was kind of talking about a lot of the mid-30s defenders, because I think one of the defender thing, I want to say it was Vertonghen, has come out and basically said, like, it might have been Alderweireld, one of the two, that they think the defenders think the attack is the problem. So I think there's a bit of there's friction within the dressing room that's created this. The problem is when you say what KDB does and then you drop a disaster of a performance, that's what everybody's going to remember. That bit is the focus then, as opposed to any other element. So yeah, that's why I say to people, like, the way people take press conferences so seriously is crazy. Like, most of the answers generally are PR trained, generic nonsense, so don't take it seriously. But when you do come out and speak your truth and you really speak how you feel, whether you should or you shouldn't, you set yourself up for failure. Like, that's why I just say, keep your mouth shut, say the right thing. We're here. We have confidence. We're going to play as best we can. You get a lot less stick if you say we think we can win and you lose than saying I don't think we can, and then you get beat badly. Because then it's like, well, you weren't even trying, were you? And not trying upsets people a lot more than anything else, really. This super chat here says Chelsea have a spoilt plastic fan base that cry anytime they don't have a new shiny toy. Don't listen to Mount haters. They are consumers, not fans. Strong words.
Fighting talk. The thing is, I know a lot of Chelsea fans, like old and young. Yeah, and it's different. Like, the older ones are a little bit more like, well, listen, we've come from being crap. Let's appreciate what we have. And the younger ones are like, no, let's just keep signing because they've only grown up seeing Chelsea win. So it's kind of mad. There's a big split in the older lot and the younger lot, for sure. It's funny. It is funny to see it. But listen, Mount's a good player. And the thing is, Terry, right, if somebody that these Chelsea fans that are hating on Mount, and I just looked at his stats, yeah, if he had posted a 1 in 2.5 GA in nearly 200 games, and it was one of their players that they like, yeah, that had dropped some stinkers this season like Mount has, but had the GA, yeah, they'd be lauding him up. Yeah, like I said, why don't Kai Havertz get this much grief? He's done nothing apart from score a Champions League goal. That's it. 70
mate, I agree completely with that. I think that, yeah, you kind of get this split though. Every club now has this, where you get this kind of like, there are some fans of clubs who I don't like the whole academy English thing, so they go for them and they under support the English academy players and they over support the foreign players. And then you get it in reverse the other direction, where there's over support for the young English players and under support for the foreign players. I just find that, I see it, and you can read through it on social media. I find it weird because just growing up, I didn't care whether we signed a player who was from Trinidad and Tobago or he grew up in Manchester. I loved them all the same. I treated them all the same. My standards were all the same. I don't know what's happened to the world where we can't just treat everybody equally. And I think you get a lot of people out there that want to create their own equilibrium. So they go, right, well, I want to treat them all equally, but I see that Mount gets more credit than Havertz, or doesn't get as much criticism as Havertz. So what I'm going to do is not criticize Havertz at all and criticize Mount just to create the balance. I'm going to create the counterbalance. And it's like, no, you create the counterbalance by being balanced and you show people the right way to behave. If you just do the polar opposite to them, you create this ebb and flow and polarization that causes these issues. Like it's honestly like the way young people are being brought up and taught to think or trained to think is crazy. Like if I was thinking like that as a kid, my dad would have given me such a slap. Why being like that?
Probably would have sucked your toes, Terry, one or the other.
Maybe. This super chat here says, as a Belgian fan, if KDB's comments make that bum Martinez drop Hazard, Witsel, and 2 grandfathers at the back, I'm all for it. He's right to call it out.
You know what? I'm glad somebody's mentioned Witsel. That is one of the most overrated footballers I have ever seen. That guy does absolutely nothing every time I've watched him over the years. Does nothing. Why does he get so much ratings off of people? I don't get it, Terry. Like that guy is not a very good player. Like he's all right. Yeah, but the way people elevate him online, like, oh, let's sign Witsel. Maybe it's he's got a funky name. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Like, because he's never, ever done anything for me to go, wow, you're a player.
Yeah, like, he's one of them. He's just good. Yeah. Score predictions for Wales, England. We'll come to that a little bit later, my friend. We'll save that one for a bit later. Lee, you do realize the hate Kai. You realize we hate Kai more than Mount, is what Dyke says.
I see more people hating Mount online than Kai. Yeah, maybe that's because Mount plays more. I don't know.
Maybe. Terry, what your feelings towards England? Okay, we'll come back to the England stuff a little bit later. I wanted to ask you, Lee, about Arsenal, though, because you are also linked to someone in this transfer window, young Mudryk. Some big reports earlier on in the week that the deal is basically done in principle. He's been speaking about you loads, can't keep you out his mouth. The bigger journalists have kind of alluded to the deal, but they haven't really gone in yet to say it's going to happen. What's your take on this, mate?
This is what happens when there's hardly any news going around, Terry. I think Zinchenko's wife did an interview with him and asked him the question. I don't know if she must be a journal or something. I don't know. I don't know. But
otherwise, that'd be weird. Going out with one of your best mate's girlfriends and then filming it.
Yeah,
that'd be well mad.
But yeah, she asked him, play for Real Madrid, but sit on the bench most weeks, or go and play for Arsenal. And he said, I'd love to go to Arsenal. Then you've got the goalkeeper of Shakhtar coming out in the media before that interview came out. So this is going back maybe, 7 weeks ago, saying, oh, there's a joke within the dressing room that he's already at Arsenal. Like, we all just go, well, we already know you're an Arsenal player. And it's like, all of this. And if we don't sign him, Terry, then anyone who's believed all of this, if it doesn't happen, should never believe anything that comes out of these people's mouths ever again. Because like the way it's all finessed all the way down, it's like we're going to sign him. Then I see a story saying, I think it was Fabrizio said that they want around 90 mil or 80 mil in euros or something. Then I see another story saying, oh, we could get him for half price. Literally 2 days later, we can get him for half price. Like, every single time a January window or a summer window comes up, the amount of BS I hear is unreal. Yeah, which is why I do daily transfer updates, because then I just decipher all of the rubbish. Like the same with press conference reactions. I just decipher all the rubbish. Like, because some of the words that are used, some of the stories that come out, tracking cars, planes, and everything, like, do people not realize how sad and embarrassing that is? Like, like when we signed Gabriel Magalhaes, right? He was at a house. Yeah, I think he was staying at this house. People were saying, I'm sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on this massive hornet that's about to come through my patio door. 1 second, sorry.
Go on. The hornet's come for Lee.
Yeah, people were saying, oh, he's definitely in England because it's raining and it's not raining in France. And they showed a little bit of water on the floor. Like, come on, man. Yeah, but in terms of the player, I've only seen him play maybe twice, both the Celtic Shakhtar games this season. Yeah, and like, people are sitting there making out that this is I've seen one of the titles I have seen, by the way, of a headline is Arsenal nearly close to signing the Ukrainian Neymar. Yeah, and I'm like, hold on. So let me go and have a look at Neymar. What was Neymar doing at that age? Oh, right, he was winning Champions League, scoring loads of goals, like winning titles, trebles, all of that. Like, who makes these things up? Like, how many times have we heard the Ukrainian Neymar or the next Neymar, the next Messi? No, there is no next Neymar. There is no next Messi. There is no next whatever. Yeah, they're individual players by their own right.
Yeah.
Is he any good? I don't really know, Terry. I've watched him play twice for 90 minutes against Celtic. He scored a great goal in that game. He looks rapid. Yeah, he looks very good on the ball. But is he any good? I don't know. I don't know. And all the people that are claiming that they watch Ukrainian football are a bunch of liars because they don't. Like, these are the same people, by the way, that say the French league's a farmers' league. Yeah, but now apparently this guy's the second coming of Neymar. Well, you don't watch Ukrainian football. Only Ukrainians watch Ukrainian football. Let's be real with it. Like, let's just stop playing games here. Is he going to come? I don't know. We had this with Vlahovic last season. Yeah, this is going to probably be the same. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't sign him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you will. Look, I understand your point around the whole Ukrainian. I'm never a fan of the new Neymar, the new Messi, the new this. I've seen people say things like this before, like Paul Pogba, top class midfielder. He was 26, and then the new player coming through. Oh, he's a new Pogba. I'm like, Pogba's still fairly new himself. Like, slow down. Like, I get you on that, but I'm someone who enjoys the transfer window. I love the stories. I love the hustle and bustle. I love the excitement people get about the new deals coming in. But he's definitely a player you need. I think he's really talented.
I think we need a player of that ilk, but him, I'm not so sure. Like I said, I haven't seen him enough, Terry, to actually form a proper opinion.
I've watched about 4 90-minute games with him in, and I've been impressed that you can see the talent. But again, he's playing with Shakhtar, and I feel like he could be one of those individuals. You take him away from that and put him around the better players you've got, and I think you'd see his talent shine through a lot more.
Sorry to cut you off. What teams did you see him play against? Was it because I think they played Madrid at some point, maybe last season? I think they played Madrid. The reason I'm asking that, the point I'm trying to get to is, are they teams that are going to come out and have a go? Because Celtic came out and had a go at them in both games. Yeah, so now there's
Celtic with 2 of the games, most definitely. Yeah. So you get that kind of that feeling there of what's he going to be like against a low block. The thing with signing Mudryk is there's lots of questions still, but that's the same when you sign any young player that isn't smashing it for a massive team in a big league. I think you sign anyone from a lesser league, smaller team, you're going to have those same questions. The price you're looking at as well isn't like ground. It's not like you're being asked to pay 90, 100 million pounds for him. And it's sort of like, record breaking deal for Arsenal. It's very good value as well. And you still need more. I think it's certainly a signing that could excite a lot of people. And he's built, he's a good unit. He's strong. He's quick. He can dribble. He's got I mean, I think you'd like him. I mean, technically he's good on the ball. You can see there's technique there. So he passes the eye test instantly. So you'll like him no matter what he delivers. You know what I mean? He doesn't need goals and assists because he looks good. You know what I mean?
Listen, only Arsenal could sign a player that's got mud in his surname.
This is true.
Just put me in the mud, mate. I'm in the mud.
We are going to come back to Arsenal. Speaking of, have you seen the stuff that's happening around Juve right now?
No, what's happened?
So
this break, well, I say break, this World Cup break, I've not really seen any football news.
So at Juve yesterday, the whole board resigned. President, Nedved, gone. They're looking to appoint a new board. However, there are big reports coming out. So the Liga have put a sanction against them. I'm not too sure why yet. I've got to look into it. And there are reports from Italian journalists saying that this could, something as big as 2006 could be about to blow up. Now, not match fixing, but like they're talking maybe like financial meltdown. And I just thought to myself, Pogba's just gone back. And then they signed Locatelli, they signed Vlahovic. Like, this could be a good thing for a lot of European. Like, Man United need a striker, Vlahovic. Like, I feel like Vlahovic is very good, but he's gone there at sometimes you can sign for a club at the wrong time in their history and it ruined you. I feel like going to Juve's ruined him. I'm thinking, listen, man, give Juve £5 million and Palestri and give us Vlahovic. So they're in. Do you ever play? When I was a kid, I used to play football manager games, and every now and then, like me and my brothers would all play together. We'd be like 4 teams, and we'd sit there and do our teams and play. And every now and then, one of us would get like we'd spend too much, and the club would get in financial difficulties. I remember my brother was Newcastle. This was like in the 90s, right? Late 90s. And he won a couple of leagues. He did really well with them. And then he got into this financial mess. He had no money left, right? So I'm going to do it like in modern day money so it resonates. I bought, in modern day money, today's money, I bought Alan, stop him going bankrupt, which meant he lost his job, had to start again. I bought his best striker, Alan Shearer, in his pomp off of him, but in today's money, 5 million quid. So then it was like he was worth like 25 million on this game. And I bought him for like £1 million. I was like, there you go. I'm taking him for $1 million because that's what he needed to not go bankrupt. But yeah, they could be in big trouble, Juve. But that's also maybe a hunting ground for Arsenal because there are players in that Juve squad, Locatelli I've mentioned, Vlahovic we've mentioned, who you wanted already and couldn't get. Maybe now's the right time to say, listen, there's no real room for you in Italy. Like, what Italian clubs are going to sign those players? Really? Like, what have they got? Have they got the squad? They got the money? I don't know. This is a chance for some of the Premier League teams to swoop in January and go, you're in financial difficulty. You ever seen those adverts? You know what I mean? Are you in financial debt? You need to consolidate all your debt.
Consolidate your loans.
Listen, we'll help you consolidate your loan, bro. Do you know what I mean? But give us Vlahovic and Locatelli. Like, there's some serious players over there. This Arsenal fan says here as a window. In January, if you signed Tielemans, Mudryk, and Vlahovic, you've got to win the league if you sign those three. Got to win the league.
Well, it depends. It depends, doesn't it? Like we're in prime position to go and win the title. But this is what I've said to you before, Terry. This is where you see whether Arsenal are serious about winning the league. Yeah, because like we're 5 points clear. I think the Man City game has been rescheduled to the 15th of February now. So we've got West Ham coming up on Boxing Day, then Brighton on New Year's Eve. So going into that January window, we're still likely to be top of the table. And I don't know who Man City have got, but I'd expect us to beat both of them teams. But this is where Arsenal now need to show some intent and say, look, we're not just here to be top four. We're going to be here to go and win the title. And this is where you've got to go and buy players. Tielemans is a very good player. But I've kind of gone off the idea of him. I can't lie. Like I just don't think. I think there's some better players out there. Like I've watched him a lot this season, and it's just like maybe that's because his heart's not in it at Leicester anymore, but he's been shocking all season. You're on mute, mate.
I agree. I think that's what the issue has been, mate. I think that he's lost his mojo because he doesn't want to be where he is, and I think he was just waiting for Arsenal all summer to come in and take him and bid for him, and it never happened. And I think I'm not going to say it damaged him. That's probably the wrong way to look at it, but it had an impact on him, if that makes sense. It kind of like, oh, they don't want me. Why? And I think that had a real big detrimental effect on him. So yeah, like
in terms of the other two though, Terry, like you said, Vlahovic and Mudryk, yeah, like you also don't know how they're going to settle in. Like to the new league, new country, new language, like etc. etc. Like you don't, and that's why. Like we ain't signing all three of them, by the way. Like even in the next 12 months, we ain't signing all three of them. So I know it's like a hypothetical question, but Tielemans is a very good player, but I don't know. The way he's kind of down tools this season is not a good look. And we spoke about Mudryk. Like I said, you don't know whether he's going to come in and smash it, or you don't know whether he's going to come in. And not only that, Martinelli's been playing very well. So is Mudryk just going to start over Martinelli? Probably not. But it'd be a good backup to come on for 20 minutes, start at the odd game. But then what do we do with Smith Rowe when he's back? Because he's back in training. So I don't know. I know we can, and we need squad player, and we need players because our bench is shocking. Yeah, the starting 11 this season has been the best in the league. We've seen that. That's why we're top. But we do need better bench players, and we do need a winner. And I feel we need a striker as well. So, but I don't know about this Vlahovic guy though, Terry. Like I've said this, like when we were linked to him, everyone was like pants down for him. I was just like, really? Like, he's gone to Juve and done nothing. Yeah, so if he's gone from one Italian club to another Italian club, the chances are he's coming to England and doing absolutely nothing as well, isn't it?
True, but if you also look at Juve, and someone's put a super chat in here actually saying Juve lied about a financial loss between 2019 and 2020 season and 2021. My best friend supports Juve. This is why Ronaldo signed was seen as suspect. Well, this is the issue. though, with going, this is defending Vlahovic slightly, but also proving one of my long-standing points. Badly run clubs fail. No poorly run club wins. And it's why the board of directors are walking away, because they know for the past 2 to 3 seasons, they've been lying and BSing about how they're running things. Internally, the players will know. If you're, when you're, they're not like, I'm not going to sound disrespectful. In a business like such as a football club, if you're someone who makes tea, if you're someone that on Saturdays sells the burgers, if you're someone that cleans a stadium, you're not going to have a sense of these types of behaviors. But players will, because players are very senior within the organization. Their agents have contacts, and they'll know. The players at Juve, I guarantee you, will have known all along that there was something fishy going on. Standards weren't right, malpractice. And what it does, it sends a message into a dressing room that this place isn't serious at the moment. And Barca have gone through not the same behaviors, but being poorly run. They fell off. They're getting back to where they were. They're not there yet through better practice. Man United fell off because of the way we're run. So I'm not surprised to see it. But from a player point of view, if you're Vlahovic and you've joined, you don't always know until you join that there's these problems. You suddenly join, you've got all these issues. There's a manager there. Like, why weren't they sacking Allegri? Probably because they couldn't afford to. They probably can't afford to pay him his severance package, which is probably going to be 20, 30 million pounds. They've had to stick with him. You've got a player that's joined like Vlahovic. He's probably thinking, this is shit. Like, we're not playing a style we want. We're not happy. And it impacts everybody. But it will be very, very interesting to see how that works. A super chat here says, if Canelo Alvarez lay a finger on Messi, them Argentinian guys would have Canelo's head on a stick like Vlad the Impaler. Messing with Argentinian football fans is fact. I will say this, though. Messing with... we're going to probably get in trouble for saying this, but, like... Trust me, there's a group of people that are Mexican that I wouldn't want to mess with either. Like, so I'm just saying, cartels or football ultras, who would I want on my side? I'm going with a cartel, to be honest with you, bro, because there'll be a cartel or two that would probably step up and protect Alvarez. I'm just putting that out there. If we're playing these fictitious Grand Theft Auto style wars here, like, do you know what I mean? It's I've seen Scarface and enough of those kind of films to see what these type. I mean, there was no Mexicans in that. I think that was Colombian, but yeah, it's yeah, I'm sure Canelo's got himself protected, but he's not going to punch Messi anyway. What I would love to see with it is, I would love to see them come face to face and Messi just look a bit sheepish and then go, I'm like shaky sack. That's what probably happened. You know what I mean?
Why would Messi look sheepish? It's not like Canelo's going to punch him, is it? He'd lose his boxing license.
I want him to think, yeah, he wouldn't. Like Conor McGregor punched an old man in a pub. He's still able to fight. You know what I mean? Some boxers have gone to prison.
Canelo's not going to do anything.
Some boxers have gone to prison for the most heinous crimes you can commit and come out and fought. Like, the boxing don't care. Boxing tried to put a fight on recently where a man failed 2 drugs tests. So they don't care. They don't care. I'm so gutted that the fight didn't happen, man. That fight would have been so good. That fight.
Has he had the baby yet?
Who? Sorry. You know, that's the drug stops you. It's a contraception. He can't get pregnant. They're trying. IVF.
I thought it was to elevate birth.
No, I thought it was a contraceptive pill. That's what I thought it was.
Oh no, I thought it was a pill to help you get pregnant. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah. Refugee in Cuba. Yeah, Scarface is great. What is the one I watched where it was Mexican? I'm thinking of. I'll tell you what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Breaking Bad and more Better Call Saul. I swear that was Mexico. But yeah, sorry, my bad. Hence, Serie A fans celebrating as if it's good for Serie A. It's not good for Serie A. It's another big team that will fall away. It'll be less money into your league. It will damage all of you. It's not something to celebrate. To be fair, Terry, a lot of those South American
brothers
ultras,
my Spanish is all right,
are involved with the mafia and all. Okay, I didn't even know that. There we go, mate. I'm not starting off. Imagine this. Imagine they start warring in my podcast.
If Terry goes missing in the next 24 hours,
and and open the door and I'm like, oh my word, say hello to my little friend. I love that. I gotta lie. Whenever I watch any kind of gangster film, there's a moment in every film or every TV show I'm like, I'd love to live this life until they die. And then I'm like, oh, actually, I'm going to stick to doing YouTube. I got to stumble for it. I got to stumble for it. Like when I watch Top Boy, and I'm like, mate, that looks like the life until it goes wrong. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's don't want to be doing that at all. That's funny. From IBF to IVF. That's very funny. I like that too. That's a good one. Viewers, make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Did you see the FA Cup draws yesterday?
I see Arsenal's. I haven't seen many of the others. I'll get them up now and have a look.
Mate, I'll wait for you to read them out. Wait till you read these out. Wait till you read these out. They're pretty good, you know. Obviously, Arsenal got Oxford. Man United got at home to Everton. I'm fairly happy with that. I'd rather it not be a Prem team, but Everton at home, we should win, right?
Oh, Cardiff Leeds. That's going to be a scrap, in it. Jesus Christ.
Off the pitch, definitely.
Yeah.
Look for Man City's.
Arsenal got Oxford. Where's Man City? Have I missed it? Man United, Everton, Fulham, Palace, Southampton. Why can't I see Man City on there, Terry? Oh, there it is. Man City, Chelsea. Wow.
Yeah, big one. That's why I was getting it. So yeah, that's a nice third rounder. Like, if you actually look at Man City. By the way, this is a good thing for Arsenal. Look at Man City's schedule when they return. Like 3 days after the World Cup finishes, they play Liverpool in the League Cup. They've got Tottenham a couple of times. They've got they've got this FA Cup game. Like over December and January, they've got some serious games across all competitions, of course. For Man City,
they've got an EFL game 3 days before Christmas Day.
Bro, yeah. So the World Cup finishes on the Sunday. On the Tuesday, the EFL Cup starts.
Wow.
Man United play on the Wednesday. Leicester play on the Tuesday. Man United play on the Wednesday. These are the teams I remember. And it's Liverpool versus City on the Thursday.
Mate, their fixtures are mental. I didn't know that. They've got Liverpool on the 22nd. Then on the 28th, they've got Leeds away. Then they've got on New Year's Eve, Everton at home. 5th of Jan, Chelsea away. Then they've got Chelsea 2 days later in the Cup. Literally 2 days later. That's going to change.
You know what? I always feel really mad, right? It happens every year. It happened this year with Man United.
Then they got Spurs. Oh my days!
I know.
then they've got Wolves. Then there's international break. Then they've got Tottenham, Villa, Arsenal. Oh my god, mate, we could be winning the league title.
You could.
It could be coming home.
Don't you find it mad in football though, mate? Where it happened with Man United and Aston Villa this year, League Cup league. Every year, you would see at least 2 Premier League teams get a cup draw, and it's against a team they're playing at exactly almost the same time in the league, and they have back-to-back games against each other. It's crazy, but that's a really good period for Arsenal, and it's why I bring it up, because if City come through that and they're still in the League Cup, they're still in the FA Cup, they're top of the league, say, then they deserve to go on and win multiple trophies. But they could come through that period and be out the League Cup, they could be out the FA Cup, or they could be in the FA Cup, but they could have dropped a few more points in the league. And if you guys are on it, and get those early signings in. If you extend your lead by the end of Jan to 6, 7, 8 points, like genuinely, like it's not just a title race. You're the bloody league leaders at that point. Like it's honestly
our fixtures, Terry, as well, right? We've got West Ham Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, Brighton away. This is the month though, this January month, and this is why I was peed off. We got kicked out of the EFL Cup, but it is what it is. It would have been another 2 games, right? But I also think if we get past Oxford, I think there's another FA Cup game in January. I think.
Yeah, there is. So you look, and January always has breaks in the month because they're FA Cup weekends. Yeah.
So we've got Newcastle on the 3rd of Jan at the Emirates. Then we got Oxford on the 7th. Tottenham away on the 15th. Man United at home on the 22nd. I mean, that's not an easy run. Newcastle, Spurs, Man United. Yeah. Then we've got Everton away, Brentford, Man City, Villa. Yeah, in the same period, our games are a lot easier. Other than that run in Newcastle, Tottenham, Man United in January, other than that, the rest of our fixtures into February are pretty sound, mate. Villa, Brentford, Everton, Man City, Leicester. Like we should be winning 4 out of the 5 at least.
Yeah,
mate, we could win the league this year, Tell. After 19 years, they might actually do what's required.
Mate, if you buy the players in January, I've already made the video on it. You will win. You are my favorites. You are my favorites from this point, and there's little
things. Have scare or scarier in the title?
Scarier, yes. Actually,
Arsenal just got scarier. I see that one the other day.
Hey, it's But it's true. Like, the thing is, people think I'm being hyperbolic. I mean it. Like, you guys, the most scariest part of Arsenal right now isn't that you're top, isn't how you're playing football. It's an element that's been ignored by most. So you're so bloody young and you're doing it. Even if you don't win this year, the levels this squad and team can go to is ridiculous. And I, for one, am worried about it because my club, we're going to get onto it. It's a good segue, actually. You know, we're looking at a takeover. There's talk, Jim Radcliffe looks like he's going to bid. Apple have pulled out, but there's some big interest in the Middle East. Those same groups, barring Sir Jim Ratcliffe, are also looking at Liverpool. So Liverpool and Man United are probably both going to get pretty good consortium-style takeovers. Now, I see a lot of people panicking about these consortium-style takeovers. We'll get onto that a little bit later as to why people have got to not panic. But Arsenal worry me because you're there, but you're young. You're there, and there's so much room to grow. The only saving grace for everyone else in the league when it comes to Arsenal is going to be if people come in for your star players and your club allows them to be sold. So if this summer Man City come in, I'm not saying they will, but say they do, and go, there's 120 million for Saka, and you accept, then I relax about Arsenal. Because then because I'm not talking about, this is why I say to people when it comes to football, I don't think of football as singular in terms of one season only. When it comes to predictions, yes, but I look at what you're doing and the direction you're going in, because the football don't end in May. It starts again straight away, pretty much, with everything else going on. So I look at you the next 3 to 4 years and see danger, absolute danger. Any rival fan that says they can't see or smell that danger is lying. The only way it goes wrong, though, is if you allow your star players to join other clubs. So if Man City come in and go, there's 120 and they take Bukayo Saka. If, for instance, they won't do it because they've got midfielders, but I'm just making this up. If Bayern Munich say, there's 100 million, we want Thomas Partey. If Chelsea come in and turn around and say, there's 120 million, we want Saliba, and you say yes to it, then I'm not scared of you anymore. Because
two of them have not signed a new deal yet, by the way.
They haven't, but I don't see it happening. I do think the Kroenkes, for the very least, for the next couple of years, will keep these players, give them what they want, and try and build something, because this is what's crazy about it with these guys. And the Glazers always got this wrong, even though they made money. If they actually made us more successful on the pitch, they'd have made even more money, which is why I'm not worried about a consortium buying us. I'm trying to make this, like, I keep hearing people on their blogs and their videos and their tweets, I don't want a consortium, I don't want investors, I want a Roman style ownership. And I'm like, that's never going to happen anymore. It's never going to happen anymore. It's all going to be consortiums. And you actually want someone who's buying it for 6-7 billion to want to make profit in the future, because the only way to grow it is to make it successful. You're never going to get a local owner anymore, or an individual anymore, who buys a club. I mean, even Roman Abramovich probably wouldn't have bought a football club now if he was looking now, because I just don't see a billionaire who's worth 8-9 billion spending 6 or 7 billion of his fortune buying a club.
And you've got to ask the question, how many people on the planet have got that much money anyway?
Exactly.
Only a handful of people, Terry.
What you need is a consortium who are willing to put billions of pounds of their money into it. Yes, in 15 years, they might want to sell it for 15 bill. And that's just, they might, listen, there's no denying that in 15, 20 years time, football clubs might be worth that amount of money. And the reason I say that is because 10, 15 years ago, they were worth 300 million, 400 million. And now they're selling for 3, 4, 5 bill. So to say that that's not doubling, that's timesing by a lot. That's timesing by fucking 10, right? I'm not saying they're gonna increase by that amount, but all it's going to take is some TV deals from these big streaming companies, Apple to turn around and say, right, or Amazon Prime to turn around and go, right, cool, we're buying the football now, 8 billion pound for 3 seasons. Suddenly, all the money coming into clubs, the valuation starts to go up. It might even get seen by, and Amazon just say, listen, we're going to make it available in every country in the world for the same price as Amazon Prime, £80 a year. That's it. Suddenly, do you know how many more people are going to sign? People, like, do you know what that would do? That would actually end illegal streaming as well, because people would go for £80 a year, next day deliveries, unlimited music, TV and films in the Premier League football for £80 a year. You don't need to illegally stream anymore. That would be more eyes on legal eyes on the football, meaning more money from sponsors. So the valuation of clubs grow. But the only way you can be one of the top teams in that is if you're winning. Because if Man United keep regressing, if you spend £6 billion buying us, another £1 billion growing the stadium, and we keep getting worse, you're never getting your money back. And the one thing about rich people is this: they don't like wasting money. They don't like wasting money. When you see, like, you read about Donald Trump, oh, this business didn't work, and Gordon Ramsay, that restaurant failed. Did you know why they shut them down so quickly? Because they put some money in, the idea weren't working, they shut it down quickly before they lose big money. They're smart people. They're not like, very few people are billionaires who are dumb. Very few. Like, if you inherit it, maybe you're dumb, but you get there for a reason. So listen, I'm worried about Arsenal because of where you are right now. And until we get new owners in, I'm very confident we're going to get good owners. I'm very confident that we're going to instill the right people. And Man United will listen. Man United with competent owners with no debt. Watch out for us. We'll be even scarier because we just will, because we can compete now financially, and we take £100 million a year out. Imagine not taking that £100 million a year out and growing the revenue alongside it. We can then do things in the transfer market nobody can at this present time. But Arsenal are in such a great position, and you look at those fixtures and you just think to yourself, serious, man, what's going on right now with your football club? And if I was a Gooner, I'd be buzzing. I'd be genuinely buzzing.
Mate, the only team that can get near us at the minute is Man City. That's it. Like, Liverpool are nowhere near. You lot are nowhere near. Chelsea are nowhere near. Spurs are shit. Like, let's be real. Like, it's either us or Man City that are going to win the title this season. And the thing with ownership as well, like, people are saying about consortiums. You're right. Not many people on the planet, Terry, have got that much money to go and bust out $6 billion on a football club. Right? And then the ones that have, how many of them want to go and do that? So now you're shopping in the tiniest little pool of people. Right? This Ratcliffe guy, he ain't buying any football club. Like that guy, every single time. Oh yeah, I'm going to invest in Man. I want to buy United. How many times he said this over the last 5 years? Quite a lot, and he's never done nothing.
He already owns
nothing, Terry.
He does own a football club.
Yeah, but he's never going to buy Man United. He ain't got the money to buy Man United.
Well, he hasn't. He hasn't. I think if he gets it, he'll be part of a consortium, but I don't know if he wants that. I think it might end up being Dubai or a Saudi group that buys Manchester United. Personally, I was hoping it was going to listen. It could also be Amazon, and they're still there or thereabouts, and I don't think they've denied it as of now. But even Apple saying no, we're not interested. I spoke to a friend of mine at Barclays, and I said, what do you make of this? He's an analyst, very, very well-to-do analyst. He's always on the radio and TV. He's very good at this stuff. And he just said, listen, he said, I've seen what the journalists have said. And he went, the journalists are just obviously looking for traction. That's his view. He said that, of course, they're going to deny they're going to buy it, because if Apple and Amazon publicly go, yeah, we're interested, the price goes up. The share price right now is not quite, but it's it's at the second highest point in the history of the shares being on sale for 10 years, right? That's also going to make the Glazers money, because they're selling those non-voting right shares off now. They're making hundreds of millions of pounds. But if Apple came out or Amazon came out today and said, we want to buy the club, the price, everything goes up. So they're going to keep it as quiet as possible. And I wouldn't even be surprised if these companies buy it through some sort of shell company in terms of trying to keep things as quiet as possible until the deal gets through, because the Glazers will leak it, because the Glazers want that price to go. They want as much money as possible. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these take over. And Liverpool as well. Liverpool themselves, they've got a few serious people looking at them also. And if you could get Liverpool and Man United with competent, rich owners, and I know that we've currently got rich owners, but none of our clubs, Liverpool barely did, Man United never did pump any of their own money in. They run the club with what the club turned over. If you could have owners that are willing to pump money in and run us properly, like, again, it changes the face of the league. And a lot of people are worried about this becoming a one-horse race. And I look at it this way. Well, the way you stop that is by letting more of these billionaires come in, right? And let 4, 5, 6, 7 of us have it. Then it becomes more like the 70s and 80s, where anyone can win it. Well, anyone within a group of 6 or 7. At least it's more compelling that way. But yeah, man, it's such an interesting one. Liverpool, Apple are being courted to buy Disney. Didn't someone who bought Disney recently? Oh, Disney bought Lucasfilm. That's what I was thinking of. Speaking of Disney films, I'm changing the subject completely. You know, there's a new TV series that starts tomorrow on Disney. You'll know what it is. It's called Willow. Do you remember the film Willow with Warwick Davis as a kid, where he was like a little sorcerer? Well, of course he was little. He's little.
Kind of.
You remember film Willow? They're bringing a TV series out. I'm so excited. That was one of my favorite kids films as a kid. Anyway, I digress massively. Super chat here. Arsenal needs another attacking midfielder and a 10. You don't need a 10. You got Odegaard.
who doesn't score that many goals, Terry.
He's brilliant.
Okay, now let's say he stops being brilliant after his purple patch. Then what? Then what?
Yeah, I do hear you. Now you definitely need some more. Like Vieira hasn't shown that he's ready yet. I totally get that. Score predictions. England later tonight. 7. First time in the whole World Cup, actually, yesterday I listened to Three Lions. I haven't even listened to it this whole time. It's been crazy. I've been a bit sad, really, over this football period anyway, but feeling a bit better now. But England play tonight. How do you think they're going to get on?
Gareth Southgate, my God. Regardless of what happens in this tournament, he's sacking by the end of it. Like, he is just not the guy, man. When I watched that game against America the other day, I expected us to come out front foot, attack. And I think Grealish had the ball with about 7 minutes to go. And we had Grealish running into their half. He was over halfway line. And there was only 2 defenders back for America. Fast forward that 4 seconds, all of their players were in their box. And we had 2 more players in the picture. And that tells you all you need to know about Southgate. I would not be surprised if we went and slapped Wales tonight. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was a drab draw or a loss. Yeah, and you never know what you're going to get with England. Yeah, it's like, you know, Terry, it's just so boring to watch. This is why I don't really like international football. Like, and I've said this a million times on my channel. Like, why is it that the Premier League is 100 miles an hour? All of the players pretty much in that squad playing the Premier League. And then when it comes to international, oh, let's slow down to their pace. Why? Why don't we just play at Premier League pace and we'll blitz most of these teams anyway? Like, why is it we played this slow, boring, possession-based crap? Like, go out there, 100 miles an hour. We've got the bench, we've got the players, we've got the squad. Go out there and absolutely slap teams to pieces with pace and power. Yeah, which is what the Premier League's made up of, pace and power. That's where football is right now. Go out there and absolutely rip them. And then after 65 minutes, bring some bench players on. We've got quality on the bench. The fact that Foden's not kicked a single ball in this tournament's a shambles. Yeah, we're bringing on Henderson over him. Apparently, Henderson's starting over Bellingham tonight. I see that earlier. Like, what? Like, are you for real? But if that is the case, then, mate, listen, I don't rate England one bit with that manager. We had the golden generation with the Lampards, the Gerrards, the Scholes, the Carricks, all of these players back in the day. And we never had the manager that would go out there and pull it all together and make a team competitive. This manager is getting lucky, Terry, if we're honest. Like, and the standard of football internationally now compared to when we had the Sven-Goran Erikssons and the Capellos of this world, the standard's gone from up here to down here real quick. International football is shocking compared to what it used to be. Like, and that's why I think we have a chance to win this competition, but not with that manager. Like, we've had this manager in a Euros, absolutely bottle a final. Yeah, absolutely bottled it. Why? Because as soon as we went 1-0 up, he sat back and let the Italians have the ball. Pathetic. Yeah, and you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Yeah, and when you've got, when we were against Croatia in the last World Cup, you go 1-0 up. What did he do? Oh, let's sit back and defend and try and counter-attack. Like, as soon as you go 1-0 up in a game with that squad, we should be going out and going, right, now we're going to sit even higher up the pitch. We're going to suppress you right on the edge of your box. We're going to make, look at Brazil last night. Yeah, I called the last 20 minutes of that Brazil game last night. Was anyone, as soon as Casemiro scored that goal, did anyone seriously think that they were going to sit back and let Switzerland come onto him? Switzerland couldn't get the ball after that. They were pressing even harder and faster and higher up the pitch. They could not get the ball. And this is what England need to do, Terry, right? When we go 1-0 up in a game, now let's go and rip you a new one. 5-0, 6-0, 7-0. Now, I know you can't do that every week or every game, but with that squad, with that bunch of players that we've got, we should be battering America. No disrespect to the Americans in the chat. We're light years better than them. Yeah, and we're light years better than Wales, but no doubt Gareth Bale will turn up and probably score. You're on mute again, mate.
It's about being cowards, and we were cowards in. There's a few games where we've been cowards. Southgate's had good tournaments with us, so we can't deny that. But there's been a number of games where Southgate has been a coward. He was a coward when we played Croatia in the semi-finals in the World Cup. We went 1-0 up. We attacked for about 10 minutes after that, and then we sat back for the rest of the game. Harry Kane was then shot to bits, exhausted. Should have bought him off. Didn't do it, left him on. We eventually conceded. We go out. We were dying on our backsides. At the Euros, cowards against Scotland. It was almost, we just don't want to lose, so let's not attack. We then went on to a finals. You kind of forget about that a little bit. Did very, very well in the games after that. Got into the final. Scored in the opening minutes. Again, just like against Croatia, we attacked for the next 10, 15 minutes, and then we sat back for the rest of the game. We brought on Rashford and Sancho. Now, people hear the word Sancho and think about his form in the last two seasons at Man United. But this was Sancho after being brilliant at Dortmund. He was on form. He was on fire. They came on and just kicked penalties. They didn't get to run, use their speed and their skill collectively against that aging, tiring Italian defense. And it was because Southgate would rather the game remain the draw and go to penalties than maybe lose by trying to win. And the maddest part is each time he's done that, the result has been us losing. And that's my issue with him. I would rather see us lose being brave than lose trying our best to not, we're not playing for a draw. That's the wrong word. What we're trying to do is be really hard to beat, and we want to nick it. I don't want to nick it. I want to go toe. I feel like these players are good enough to go toe-to-toe with most teams. I don't mind if we're playing Brazil or Spain and we sit back and absorb and counter. That's when it makes sense. But doing it against America, doing it against Scotland, doing it in games where we've gone 1-0 up and they've got to come out and attack, and they're leaving space in behind is crazy to me. Like, that's where it's unforgivable what he's done. And I hope tonight, there are talks, and we put the comment up a minute ago, that Foden and Rashford are in tonight. By the way, I think Saka's been good at this World Cup. He's quiet in the last game. But we need to rotate. It doesn't even matter if he was good in these last two matches. Rotation is needed. We need to keep people fresh. I'm still annoyed he played Harry Kane with a bad ankle. That's another catastrophic mistake from him. But I wouldn't even mind Bellingham coming out. But I look at it this way. Why is Calvin Phillips there? What I mean by he maybe shouldn't have gone. But if he's not fit enough to kick a ball, why bring him? Bring Ward-Prowse, because I'd rather Ward-Prowse be playing today instead of Bellingham. If you're going to rest Bellingham, play Ward-Prowse, not Henderson.
Henderson shouldn't be there. Let's be real.
Henderson was very good for England for a number of years, and he was very good for Liverpool. But the man is finished now. Like, there's no legs left in him, and I don't even mean it rudely. And I'm not digging it in because he's a Liverpool player. Like, I don't know, man. He's
been a good player. He's overachieved for the level of talent he's got. That's for sure. Because he ain't that great. Yeah, and for what he's won, he's actually overachieved. Because he should thank Jurgen Klopp all the way. Like, let's be honest. But he shouldn't be there. Calvin Phillips played one game. Why is he in the squad? Like, and then people go, "Oh, but we haven't got anyone else other than Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice." Okay, we'll build a formation without needing two. Then, like, build a formation that if Rice is injured, we can go down a different route. Like, he's getting paid a lot of money to be England manager, right? And I look at it, Terry, and I think, Harry Kane shouldn't have played that second game. It should have been Callum Wilson. He should have played. He didn't even get on the pitch. Phil Foden deserves to have started that game, or at least come on in either of the games. Like, I like Grealish a lot, but Foden's more, what's the word I'm looking for? He's got more product on him, like Grealish is more of a ball carrier, whereas Foden's more of a bit of everything, really. He can do a lot.
Foden can pass, he can dribble, he can run. But have them both on the football pitch. Like, this is the thing. Like, we have got so much talent. And there's sometimes I look at the bench and go, wow, look what we've got to come on. And then we don't bring them on. And I think to myself, and look, we might play very well tonight. We might stick 2 or 3 goals in, and we'll all be, because I'll be saying it's coming home. I'll be singing 3 Lions. I'll be happy if we win tonight, because I'll always
celebrate. You can have the face paint on your cheek, Tel, with the England flag.
My kids do. I don't think that far. Jackie and Freya.
But you're right, though. Like, we'll probably go and win comfortably tonight, and everyone will be like England fever and all of that again. But at the end of the day, Terry, like, if we're going to end up with probably Ecuador or Holland, who I think are playing at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock UK
3
time.
o'clock, yeah.
So we're going to end up with one of them too. Are you confident we can beat Ecuador or Holland? Because I'm really not, judging off of the last game.
I think we can beat them. But It's about how brave we are. If we're brave, we can beat them. If we're not brave, then no.
This is my point. And somebody in the chat quite a while back said, "Yeah, but it's tournament football. One mistake and you're out." Yeah, that's cool. But I'd rather have that mistake while having a go than sitting back just being bored out of my box.
Yeah.
Like with the talent we've got, if you look at the names and the quality of players that we have, and you look at all of the other squads in that tournament, how many other squads in that tournament are better than England on paper?
Not very many. Two or three. Two or three.
Yeah.
No, we should
Brazil,
be.
France.
Mate, I completely agree.
After that, we're struggling.
I'm just going to go to the super chats here. This one here says weird football names: Franny, Terry, Whitson, Donovan. I don't really get. Thank you. I agree. I agree with Lee. Mbappe is doing it. Why not the Prem players? He plays in a farmers league.
Exactly. Direct football. Direct scares the life out of players. Yeah,
that's why Rashford, and that's why when Grealish came on the other night, it changed. If Grealish had another 20 minutes, which he should have had, if Rashford had another 20 minutes, we'd have won the game. I believe we would have won it. We were just starting to it was starting to waken us up, and we were starting to open them up a little bit, but we just weren't brave enough. This super chat here says, question for you, Terry. Do you think if the rumors are true about Liverpool being sold in 2023, do you think FSG would have already picked someone? I mean, they might have already highlighted some prospects, but FSG are the same as the Glazers. They will sell it to the highest bidder. They're
long. Like they don't care, and then it's down to the powers that be at the FA.
Yeah,
and to then do their homework on them.
Yeah, Terry, what will you be feeling if England are 2 down at half time? I'll be angry. Again, we shouldn't be getting beat by this Wales team. I know it's a derby. They don't have a single player in their team that gets into the England side. Not one.
None.
Not one.
I laugh my bollocks off. I can't lie, Tel. I'll be laughing my bollocks off if we lose to this lot.
Well, if I would, the
first man or woman in the chat that's going to sound negative and go and support Scotland or someone, I don't know. No.
My view is this, right? The first person I'm going to tweet is Jamie Carragher. 6 months ago, Jamie Carragher didn't reply to me, but he tweeted about you've got to get asking for Southgate to be sacked after nearly winning us a Euros and a World Cup is wrong. And my tweet to him went crazy viral. The biggest reply to it I've ever had in my life, 50,000 likes on it. All I said to him was, I was being respectful, but Liverpool wouldn't have achieved what they've achieved under Jurgen Klopp if they hadn't have sacked Brendan Rodgers because he nearly won you a league title in 30 years. It was written something along those lines. Yeah. And that's my point with Southgate. If we go out tonight by getting beat by a big scoreline by Wales, or we have a relatively easy next round game and we get outclassed, I'm going to go to people like Jamie Carragher and say, see, we told you that this is what was going to happen. And, if a better manager than Southgate had this squad, I don't want to waste this squad. I look at the golden generation at Belgium we mentioned. Them man had Roberto Martinez managing them, bruv.
He still is.
But he was managing their golden generation. We had, we tried with Sven and with Fabio Capello. It didn't quite work. We missed when we had our golden generation. We never brought the right manager in to get the best out of them. And I just feel like Southgate we're at ceiling with him. But listen, I want to win. I want to win tonight. I want to win the World Cup and and everything else. But yeah, I'm just not 100% sure we can. But Lee, mate, listen, I appreciate you coming on and speaking to us on the terrace today. Our super chat here says, the reason I ask that is you won't qualify if you lose 3-2. No, I hear you, brother. I knew exactly why you're asking that question. If Valencia's playing today for Ecuador, I thought he was injured, or maybe it was someone else. Yeah, he did pick up an injury, but I think he's okay. It might just have been a knock there.
He picked up an injury in the first game, I think, then played the second and scored.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Viewers, listen, I appreciate you all tuning in and coming on and having your say today and supporting the Football Terrace. We're live after both sets of games today for match reaction, so make sure you're tuning into the Football Terrace. Make sure you're subscribing to the channels as well. Very, very important to us that you do that. Lee, a pleasure as always, mate. But everybody, until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again very